Hope you enjoyed that music. That was Ratatat with Desert Eagle. Actually, big fan of them, so check out their music if you haven't ever heard of them before. And yeah, so surprise game here. So the Twitch game didn't work out. They couldn't get 5 members to go, so that game got canceled at 3 o'clock today. But coming back here, getting ready for the ESCA Weekly, and Erebus Wolf chatted at me and was like, "Hey, we were pretty late at scheduling our game, but we got a game against the Nerdery. You want to come and cast it?" And so I said, why not? That's what I love to do. So here I am, giving you some AHGL action between the Nerdery, which will be our blue team, and we will have the good old Nvidia team headed up by Erebus Wolf as our red team eventually after we jump in. Nothing too crazy here. So to fill in picks and bans, so for the bans that we did have, Jarvan was banned out, Amumu was banned out, Ezra was banned out by Nvidia, Nerdery banned out, Malphite, Blitzcrank, Kha'Zix. So definitely wanted to blunt some of those top picks. But, last time we saw the Nerdery, last time I got to cast them, they were really into a big kick where there was lots of zone control. They ran Jarvan, Anivia, Trundle, and that's a really good action there and lots of control over their opponents. Play, and actually played a really nice game against Google. That was a really close game. If you haven't seen it, go check it out, youtube.com/RaiseYourWeaponMedia. HGL Season 3 should be the first playlist on the top right, or you should see it in the natural playlist that drop down after I upload games. It'll be a little bit harder to find, but for now, at least you can hop over there after this game is over and watch that game, because it actually was a really, really good game and a great display of a new kind of style of team comp where it's all about zoning and terrain manipulation to hold off your opponents and kind of section them off and dice them up. So was a really cool setup by them, and we're not going to see the same thing because Jarvan's banned out, no Trundle, no Anivia. We'll see a lot of still just like control from their team. As we see, a Wukong is going to have a lot of AoE presence. Morgana obviously going to be able to go in there and set people up. Kind of be that front line for Draven, who's going to be tasked to deal a lot of the upfront damage. Then you also have Sona, and then Olaf is going to be just trying to cruise missile those back lines. He did get nerfed a little bit recently, but he's still a very strong champion. Just not broken, so he's not... we don't see players just auto-locking him like they used to. We saw a little bit of the LCS EU because they were behind a patch. Or in the LCS in general because they are behind a patch before they nerfed him, so he still is the cruise missile of destiny, but for now, at least in the patch we're playing for the HGL, it's not going to be the biggest thing in the world. Meanwhile, looking over towards our valiant Nvidia team, they actually have some oldies but some goodies and some new up-and-comers. They have Nautilus here, who had a huge presence when he came out. Like, everybody was on that train. His ganks mid were like so godly. I mean, I remember after he came out, I spent so much money on wards in mid. Like, it was insane. Like, now I would have rushed Sightstone if it existed back then, but isn't the case. And they're actually going Vi, and they're actually going lane Vi, which is going to be something quite different than what we've seen recently in competitive play. In competitive play, we've mainly seen her as a jungler, and she actually is really good because she has a lot of mobility with Bionic Arm, able to hop over walls with her Q, charge it up. So she can actually do some pretty cool early paths and get off some pretty good ganks. Once she has her ult, she is very, very effective there as well, but pretty much just going to be a bully. It'll be interesting to see how she matches up in whatever lane they decide to stick her with. Morgana, traditionally a mid laner, but it is possible that they could try to mix it up and run Wukong in the mid, which is typically where I have seen him a lot recently. But if I remember correctly, going back to what I've seen this team, I've actually seen some people play Wukong top, so I imagine they might keep him top, Morgana mid. But since they are blue side, they could play her top and actually rotate her down to get her blue buff. So nothing wrong with that kind of look at strategy. In the meantime, though, Twisted Fate's going to be the big key for Nvidia. Nvidia is going to have to really rely on his teleports and see, when he does those first few teleports, how effective are they? Are they able to get him out on the map? Have big effectiveness, swing some team fights, or are they going to kind of be down? I mean, the problem with Twisted Fate is that his ult gives him a lot of presence, but much like so Pantheon's ult, for example, Grand Skyfall, like you can get around the map with it, but you also deal damage when you come in. Twisted Fates is literally just like I teleport to here. Now it's quicker than Pantheon's. Pantheon has like a 3.5 second wind up or whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, but. Twisted Fate can get around the map really, really quickly, come into a team fight, have a big, huge effectiveness. But the problem is it doesn't deal damage, so it's all on his cooldowns. He's like a 2 cooldown spellcast champion. When you end up breaking it down, that tries to do damage over time. Has a lot of other effectiveness tools. You can get around and split push the map and stuff like that. Kind of manage lanes, and at the end of near end game, he's actually very, very good as well. Can let you split push. Like, there's a lot of good parts to Twisted Fate, but the problem is you can't let him fall behind, and he has to be effective with his first 2 teleports. Otherwise, he's kind of a wasted pick. So we'll be interested to see how that works out. We saw Amazon try to run their global comp again, and they weren't as effective in the laning phase. They had Pantheon Nocturne and didn't quite get the kills they got in the previous game, so that game didn't work out quite as well for them. So we'll see if it's kind of the same case with Twisted Fate here. On the other side, the Nerdery, Draven. Draven, he's pretty much been in almost every game so far today. He's been a lot of them, at least, it feels like. Very, very strong AD champion. A lot of people finally picked him up now. One of those AD champions that was kind of on the fence. Varus is another one of those really strong ADs too, but he's just quite not as popular as Draven has been, because more of the top players have been playing Draven competitively. He's really, really effective at trading. Even if you get a little bit behind, the bonus damage from his spinning axes just absolutely can just keep you on even keel. So you have to be really, really careful if you get a little bit ahead. We saw in a previous game, the enemy AD got up like 2 kills early, like right at the beginning of the game. Bought out, didn't buy a lot of AD damage, bought like some sustain in lane against the Draven. And Draven, when they were started to trade, was actually out damaging them just simply because, that bonus damage from spinning axes, and he went more damage heavy. So something to look out for. Can't be too confident against him. And if he is up on you, then it is almost like one of those like Darius-esque or Riven Snowball kind of scenarios where he deals so much damage, it's really, really hard. You just have to have someone kind of manage for him, and you'll be okay. Taric actually taken away, though, so it'll be Taric and Caitlyn in that bottom lane versus the Sona Draven, which Sona kind of has been the backup to Draven in a lot of the matchups I've seen, at least in the 2v2 bot lane scenarios. We see Sona, really, really heavy poke, doesn't have that stun like Taric has to really hold someone down to set up just lots of Draven damage, but still a pretty good matchup. So we're just winding down here. It's gonna head over into the break. Sorry, I actually didn't reveal summoner spells. We'll see it when when all the screen captures low up. So hopefully that goes great. It's not in the bottom right hand corner, and I won't feel ridiculous. Luckily, I've had a co-caster all day, ThePimpImp. Unfortunately, I think this was pretty quick, short notice, so I didn't get a chance to message him. Dang it, it's in the bottom right corner. Dang me for clicking something. Oh well, it's fine. It's fine. So the Nerdery's actually been on a pretty good roll. They've been doing really good as a team, and if I had to guess, I'd put them as one of the top teams, at least in B Division. I haven't looked at the rankings, but they seem like one of those teams that's doing really, really well every game I've seen, and showing through a lot of work. Nvidia is one of those teams that just kind of been working on their team, and they've had lots of up-and-coming like plays and different performances from their players that have actually been really, really good. So I'm interested to see how they get better, because they've actually gotten better week to week. But, I mean, this is going to be a tough task for them, because this is a really, really stout team. So we'll see how they do here. Just gotta switch over the borderless. It's always the fun part when it spawns in the bottom right hand corner. And we'll just set up this stuff here. We will load in shortly. We already have a pause, so perfect. We have a pause. That means I don't have to worry about getting in there too early. Everything's okay for me. Go see the jungle Olaf, which I actually like to see. Big fan of jungle Olaf. Oh yeah, there we go. So Erebus Wolf, scumbag Erebus Wolf, leaving the game. It's okay. That is information, though. Not that the rest of the Nerdery is slow out of the gate, but because they are going to be slow out of the gate, that means, or if they were quick out of the gate, it would mean that they could go and try to take advantage of the fact that Caitlyn's going to be stuck at spawn. They know it's there, so they could get some really big advantage. You can see they're already pinging from the minimap. They're pinging to the bottom right hand of the map, so I have to imagine that something that is going to happen is there's going to be an invade down there, or at least a check. Like Draven just might be running down there really, really quickly to check out. And as we see, it's the beginning of a ping at red buff from the Nerdery. So there could be that could be a good call. We could see the Nerdery mounting up for an invasion through that bottom tri-brush, and Draven getting there early. We'll be able to spot that out. However, have been seeing some sneak-ins by Lizard. So part of the current meta that's been going on, as you can see my cursor here. So what people used to do is they used to ward right around these areas by Wraith when they would protect their buff a little bit, and that would catch people possibly entering. It would catch the jungler when they cross if they start blue. You know, the jungler starts blue, crosses over here past Raze. Like, you can keep tabs on them and their timings. That was fine, except for that ward doesn't actually prevent invasions. Because most of the time when teams invade, they invade through your tri-brush. I mean, it's just smart. It's a long way around. You can do some loop arounds here on the Wraith buff where they don't have a lot of vision of you coming in. So then teams start actually just straight up warding either tri-brush really quickly with a throwaway ward, 60-second ward, or you ward your actual buff. The one that you're basically, whatever buff you're invading, you ward your own buff just to catch for their counter invade. And so typically, so then that kind of brings up the new meta, which is, okay, if no one's going to ward in front of Raze anymore and they're just going to ward their Lizard, or they're going to rush to tri-brush to try to spot out, then why don't we just come right up past Raze, because no one's checking that anymore. So could be something we see in the future. Probably easier to do from blue side to head up to red than to do the other way around, but time will tell. We'll have to wait till Erebus Wolf logs back in here. Hopefully it is soon. We don't see a bunch of people hanging out. But anyways, so if anybody wants to know what I'm going to be doing after this tonight, it's going to be ESEA Weekly. It's going to be on at 6:30, so in an hour. I'm going to be doing a talk show with Dom, the help from Area of Defect, as well as Dustin Moret from Counter-Strike Go scene. We're going to talk a little bit of Counter-Strike Go, talk a little bit of League of Legends in the ESEA League, what's going on globally, and what's going on within the league itself at ESEA. So is pretty cool. If you guys haven't ever checked that out, you should go check it out, because it's the first season for League of Legends for ESEA. So the competition isn't like all the pro teams, right? Because they're all wrapped up in LCS. But there's some good amateur teams coming up. It is a fun league to cast. There's a team called Team Sword Art that right now is currently at the top of the division, and they're actually a really cool team. They're a team that is based out of Montreal. They went to a LAN, and at the LAN, I think something like they didn't do as well as they expected to do. And of course, like a lot of esports teams, there's some egos involved, and they thought about breaking up, but they had also signed up for the ESEA and they had already paid. So they were like, you know what, like, even though like we had our disagreements, let's at least come together and play this ESEA league. Why not? Let's give it a shot. We're still pretty good, but let's just like throw together, and you know, if we bomb out, fine, whatever. If we do good, then great. So they hop in they hop in to ESEA league, and now they are undefeated as far as I know. I don't think they've dropped a single game. Which then leads you to, you have this team that was about to break up, be like, nah, we're no good. Let's break this up. Instead, now they're leading ESEA League Open. So pretty cool team. Definitely check them out. A bunch of Canadians they're pretty good. There's some other cool teams. Tamagotchi, another up and coming team. A lot of really fun, good players are part of that team. So fan favorites at the very least. There's another team called Northern Lights Gaming, which has been doing pretty good. They've only dropped 1 or 2 games. And some other up-and-coming teams you've never heard of, but they actually have some good players on them, and so it's actually a pretty exciting league to follow. And if you have a team that you think is pretty good, you should probably become a part of it, because what ESEA is eventually going to do is they're going to open up basically an invite league, much like you have for Counter-Strike or the TF2 or the other divisions, and you have access to a lot bigger prizes. They're probably going to do a LAN event. You could get flown out to a LAN. A lot of really cool stuff, and I think it's the best to get on the ground floor and get into that open division or in the invite division if you can early, before like it really stacks up. And so if you're looking into it, definitely look out for season 14 of League of Legends if you're not in it. If you want to check out the competition, the teams, tune in every Monday night, or usually around 6 or 6:30. I think this week it'll be 6 o'clock, or scratch that. Let me go find out. I think it might be 5 p.m. actually, or something really early, because a lot of the teams are doing based off Eastern time that I'm casting. So I think it's like 8:30 Eastern, so it's going to be 5:30 p.m. PST this Monday. And it should be good. It's like a little Monday night football, but Monday night ESEA, I guess. League of Legends. So this pause has lasted a really long time, and no one else is left. So hopefully power did not go out. Maybe we can release a search party for Erebus Wolf and try to track him down. Don't want him to go missing or anything like that. You can check my stream chat to see if they're pinging me. Boats and hoes. Yes, that is one way to live, sir. It is one way to live. It's a good way sometimes. I mean, if it's nice weather out. I mean, if you're here in Washington, it's been kind of cold and rainy. Like, you can take out the boat, but like, there's not a lot of sunbathing. It's kind of like, it's like your hoes are all in like parkas and shit. I mean, it's not really the way to go, in my opinion. So, I mean, it's geographically relevant. I think that's what I'm getting at this point. So, man. So I've actually talked for quite a bit during this this pause break here, and that's actually pretty good for someone that's just by himself and randomly talking to myself. So if anybody in stream actually wants to talk about something when we have to kill some time here, and wants to ask me any questions about me, RaiseYourWeaponMedia, or what I do, casting, game related, these teams related, anything, just feel free to pop it up in chat, and I'll be happy to rap at you. See what's going on, because frankly, not a lot left to talk about for these teams. Just waiting for him to get going and waiting for Erebus Wolf to come back to me. Any of you guys saw the LCS? That was actually pretty exciting. Actually really excited for Curse. Gonna get to cast their B League team later on today with their pro team. You know, staying hungry, doing it big, getting those wins. I'm actually really excited because none of the other top three teams have been like fat and complacent. CLG has actually been working. You can tell their new lineup is not pretty solid, but really solid. They did drop a game to Curse, but you know, like that first game against TSM, like TSM picked like the biggest like solo queue like stomp team ever, and CLG came in with a team that's like you could tell like someone went and thought about, you know, what is TSM going to play? What should we play? How can we play to our strengths to take advantage of what we know they're probably going to play and their tendencies? And sure enough, TSM picked a team, but by all intents and purposes is a really strong team. You look at their champions are strong, but you know, Original was a little lax that early game. They kind of came out of sleep, and CLG just kind of beat them, but I don't think CLG just purely beat them in the game. I think they beat them out of the game too, and I think that's where, you know, a lot of this game has a lot of mental facets to it, and preparation that hasn't really been peaked at all. Like, people are just focused on like the play inside of the game and figuring that out. That a lot of the effort, a lot of the meta shifts that we do see is like found out like not only in game but outside of the game. And you go to the Curse house and you see they have like a laminated map of the entire Summoner's Rift, and they're working out strategies and they're focusing, and you don't see like a ginormous amount of streaming. I mean, obviously Voyboy is a huge streamer. Obviously, that's can't take that out. But you know that these guys are focusing and their heads are down and they're really hungry. And so I'm glad that's kind of like the wake up call. I think this week one, as I call like week one NALCS, the wake up call. Like Dignitas, everybody wake up. You gotta step up your game, and catch up to Curse. I think Curse right now has the fire. They have the fire. They're rolling. That's good. As far as the EU LCS, what I saw, Gambit Gaming, the other team that's kind of asleep, and got surprised. They got surprised big by Blitz, was it? I can't remember what that EU team is, but they've been a really good EU team. They just like have had stupid things that have come up that haven't allowed them to actually be successful and show up for tournaments. Otherwise, they'd be one of the top teams and in the conversation. This had stupid stuff come up. Now they're in the EU LCS. They're getting paid to do it, so nothing can really stop them. And they showed up today, took a game from Gambit Gaming, which was huge for them. So props to them. I also like Evil Geniuses play. Evil Geniuses, they're like, all right, so what do you expect from us? You expect a really slow game? We're going to come out and take one of your turrets in 4.5 minutes. Wah? Like, seriously? Like, that actually has me excited, because I think EG, they're so talented, they don't have to play that game that was kind of bred into them from playing against CLG. I think they played so many games against CLG that's kind of just got beaten into them. That's the way they had to play. And they're a really good team. So they're definitely the front runner. I'm not surprised. I'm actually really not surprised by either of EG or Curse being kind of like the front runners for their different respective LCS divisions for the first few weeks. But we'll see how it shapes up. I think a lot of the lower tier teams that snuck in that weren't already established names are going to have a little bit of a slow ride warming back up and getting back into it. But after they do, then it's going to be good times. So I'm actually going to hop out of this game, I think, just to check to make sure that they haven't like restarted or something crazy, because I can actually hop back into this. Okay, so I just got a message that it was just on pause. So congratulations to me. As soon as I wear down and I finally crack, the game's going to start. So, could be worse. Could be worse. But the game has started. So in the next couple of minutes, I don't know exactly when that was sent. I wasn't paying attention to timestamps. So it should be unpausing soon. So I want to believe, obviously you can see his gold member, Attila Milia. So Terrace Kartung was an amazing Ezreal, kited like a boss. Attila Milia was the big, so perfect timing, right as we come back in. So congratulations, happy birthday to me and us as viewers, because now we're finally going to get to start Nvidia versus the Nerdery, which should be a pretty decent game here. Nerdery on a pretty good roll. Nvidia slowly becoming a better team and a bigger force. I want to believe has made some really cool plays, so going to be excited to see him on this Twisted Fate. A lot of the early pings that we saw down, looks like Twisted Fate is going to get the lead in here, and Draven's going to catch us out. Gold card not locked up. We're going to do red cards for a little bit extra damage and slow. And just back off out of here. So nice little poke in. We did see that invade from Nvidia right there. But they're just going to back off out of this. Play it safe. Not a big, huge push in there. Still waiting for members to catch up to what they had to do. But if they all were running out of the gate off the bat, could have been something different. As far as the Nerdery knows at this point, they are getting invaded and losing their red. We might see some checks by Envision or some other players to fully scope that out. But for now, Draven and Sonnen don't even want to peek in the enemy jungle because they could get caught out and it could be all sorts of bad. So they're just going to play it safely. Nala's going to get a lot of help here, which is good for him. Going to get some AoE damage as well as some poke here from Caitlyn. So should be an easy ride for him. Might not even see a smite. We'll have to see. Going to see this Olaf, slightly nerfed Olaf jungle, but still very, very effective and good. Attila Milia, like his Jarvan, like the whole dynamic of the game when they played against Google was Attila Milia was like, all right, I'm Jarvan, I'm up top, I'm farming, and Google was making plays. Like they were stealing blue buff they were doing all these really, really like good plays. And then also Attila Milia was like, all right, I farmed up enough. I'm going to come into the fight as Jarvan. And then the first time he shows up, he like dives past mid turret into the second tier of turrets and gets a kill on the mid I want to believe in the mid player. And like from then on, like every fight was pretty much dictated by Jarvan and the control that they had between Nvidia Trundle and Jarvan's Coliseum. It was a pretty impressive game. And then of course, Terrace, we should see in the bottom lane as Draven actually was the closing out factor. His Ezreal was basically uncatchable. He kited really, really well. There was one really big moment where he was taking on Ryze and absolutely decimating. But we see a nice little catch here by Nautilus here in the jungle. We're actually going to see Ghost pop to protect himself. Vi coming in here, going to get the Bionic Arm off. Will they get the first blood? This is so close. Ignite is going to go down. That should clean it up just in case Twisted Fate had rotated over to seal the deal on that kill. And actually a little bit of trade here. Dark Binding is out though, so it doesn't quite have that, but some nice little transition damage. It's actually some good play I like to see from the mids here. And we see Nautilus coming back up and around onto Wukong. Wukong trying to Nimbus dash out of it. He is going to decoy. They do try to chase, but it's not going to be enough. So Nautilus strutting his stuff right here in his moon suit, low grav. Yeah, being a boss. And that's what you should expect from Nautilus, and that's where they're most annoying, because he has so much CC. He can get on you pretty easily. Wukong has some good techniques to get out of danger, but for the most part, Nautilus is just a hassle, especially once he gets some Mobo boots or something like that. Like, it's just cringe-worthy at points. So I actually did hop in back into this, so I'm actually going to try to fix the way a little bit of this is set up currently. Make it a little bit cleaner, easier for you guys, the viewers, to check out, compare CSs, see what's going on. So we do have a lot of early CS that's really, really heavily advantage of Twisted Fate. Twisted Fate has been farming like a boss, while meanwhile I haven't got a real chance to see, but Morgana at 5 CS has to make me think that she's trying to throw down that pool, or she's been a little bit distracted when she came out there in that transition damage, and maybe lost a little bit of CS there or something. Because that is the only thing that could make sense to me. So early decoy, they're actually going to be able to possibly catch him out of here, but it looks like he actually burns Flash to guys. But Nautilus going in there a little bit. Really aggressive Nimbus Strike with Ignite. Beautiful play by Attila Milla. I mean, seriously, this guy is money, at least for the Nerdery team. Has been doing some serious work. And there you see right there, you know, Nautilus, you know, trying to be a bully. Didn't realize that Wukong has a really big stick to deal with that. Erebus Wolf getting backed off, getting a lot of pressure from this Draven bot lane. And really, I think the key for Nvidia, if they want to try to win this game out, at least the way it's going, is I have to feel that they're going to want to... I think they can win mid lane. I think mid lane's going to go in their favor. They just need to win bottom up. I think top probably the easier one to force. After that whole reaction, not quite as good. After Nautilus gets picked up in the top lane, it's not quite what they wanted, but they were focusing a lot on it, so I think that was the correct direction to go with their overall team strategy they were trying to work out here. But we'll have to see what ends up happening on this. We see Nautilus rotating bottom. He's going to be seeing that bottom ward if he does come in there, and we'll see the reaction right away from Terrace. Terrace just backing off really, really quickly. See him coming in here. He's trying to live other, and oh wow, just barely misses the anchor right there. It was so close. Thought he might have had that one, but he is just going to be a little bit short, so going to be able to back off out of this. But if you're gonna try to dismantle this Nerdery team, you have to blunt one of them. You have to either slow down Wukong, Attila Milla at the top, or Terrace. You know, those are the two key players that are gonna carry them through a lot of their team fights. And we see Vi actually doing a pretty good job getting in some damage and some pressure here onto Wukong. Now Wukong did get double buff from Nautilus, was actually pretty huge for his laning phase, and he's going to go back here and be able to buy up. You see 41 CS here, even though under a lot of pressure. Worked out very well. Nice grab by Nautilus, and they got the Ignite down there. It's going to be very, very close, but I don't think it's going to finish him off. Oh, wow, that was close. And here comes the last hit, and oh, the Spell Shield still gets it, but that last auto attack locks him underneath turret, and that's going to wrap up the kill. Oh, man, that is... if you just... It is one of those scenarios where you needed to wait a little bit onto that, and Black Shield could have dissipated, but Black Shield blocked just enough that he had to throw in that last auto attack, and a nice clutch Dark Binding to wrap it all up. Flash was down for I want to believe, so wasn't able to use that to try to dodge the Dark Binding, but so tough love right there, but was able to pick up a kill, and I think they got an assist on the Nautilus, so overall kind of a win for Nvidia in that trade. So. And they also, I believe, still have a pretty heavy advantage of mid. Yeah, 40 to 20 CS. That's pretty large. That's significant. Twisted Fate doing a really, really good job at this point. So we'll have to see where his next teleport goes, because he does have that up. They could try to snowball either top or bottom lane, especially with a concentrated Nautilus kind of gank. See Olaf in the bottom jungle actually getting backed up by Misfortune. So this could actually be a pretty good showdown here. 4-on-4 actually focus onto Sona. Sona hasn't unlocked her ult yet. Stun coming in, putting a lot of pressure on him. Olaf is going to be able to pick up a kill, trying to back off out of this. Healing back up. Now Nautilus is going to fall. And they're slowly picking off members of Nvidia one by one as we go along here. Just trying to throw in that last bit of damage. Cards being thrown out, but it's all for not Sona. Very low here, and you can tell that I want to believe kind of wants to go in, but it's pretty close. No vision advantage there. And we're going to actually see a pretty successful invade coming in from the Nerdery. Nice little trade up there in that team fight, just kind of whittling down the members of the opposing team one by one, getting really hyper-focused and tunnel vision on to Olaf there, I think was part of the problem. But nice little team fight for the Nerdery, creeping up to a nice little early lead here. Wukong just jumping in, being a boss as he can. Does not have that double buff advantage anymore, which he was so graciously given and actually made a pretty good play for us. But now he actually is pushing on this top turret and getting some pretty good separation against Vi. Vi needs to use her AoE attack to actually clear out a lot of the CS. Could easily get 2 or 3 kills from that if she did it a little bit earlier. But it's all good. Wukong doing a good job pressing her underneath turret, making it hard for her to last hit. And meanwhile, we see the pushing power. Like, even though Morgana has pretty good pushing power, like Twisted Fate's pushing power, once those cards start to get some AP and buffs up those cards, like really hard to deal with. And we're seeing a little bit of it here. At least in this early game, we're going to have a little trouble farming early with the damage over time effects. Like, those effects in general are pretty hard to farm with unless you've played a lot of Morgana or played a lot with that effect because it'll just tick down minions that you don't expect, or aggro will switch over from your minion wave and it'll kill something faster than you thought. Nice little pink ward in the tri-brush right there. It's going to be able to clear up the vision there, so they have complete control over this bottom brush vision. See if anything comes here. I would like to see if they want to fully cap that off, they could put a ward up by Wraith here, Heaven River, but even the way it's set up, they're probably not going to get invaded on or picked off. They're still the most threatening aspect of this bot lane, so they can still do a lot of damage. Nautilus can't get too aggressive, but we do see Nautilus in this top lane trying to get down the stuns. Actually focuses back onto the decoy. Might want to pick himself up. I don't know, like if he's under turret, you expect that, but Olaf coming in now is going to get off some true damage with that ignite, and they're going to pick up at least one kill. Now they're trying to run down here. Twisted Fate going to come in, throw out some cards, deal some damage, and there's the ult from Vi, trying to turn around a kill. Actually, he's going to focus onto the decoy, take a lot of damage here. Going to be able to back off. Ignite is gone down. Need one more hit, one more spell or anything, and Twisted Fate can wrap himself up some kills. Oh, I really actually like this play from Olaf, being very, very patient here, but now, now he's not going to be able to escape. I thought they might be able to work something over, but they've bought some time. We see Morgana actually coming down here, and Twisted Fate trying to buy out some cards here. Will he be able to go for Wukong? This is going to be very, very close. He is able to get a kill. I want to believe, making some plays for his team now. Will he be able to rope-a-dope this one too? Looks like he should be able to escape from Morgana. Morgana needs to lift that skirt up so she can run a little bit faster if she wants to catch herself with Twisted Fate. But really nice turnaround actually for Nvidia. I want to believe, again, that guy makes plays for his team. And right there, all his teleports have been really, really solid. Picking up 2 kills there was a big gift, because I think they, like, one would have been good, but I think they you know, we could have seen Nerdery not give up any kills in that situation. So nice play by Nvidia, and I want to believe making some plays for his team. A lot of harass coming in here as we look. Caitlyn's still getting to farm up. You know, she's not getting completely bullied out of lane, which is nice to see. We see Envision 3D just kind of running away in this mid lane. Doesn't want to have any part of that Nautilus, and that is sometimes the smartest thing to do, especially if we can see what side he's coming from. But never run into brush if you think if you can't see the Nautilus, because chances are he's in the brush you're running to, and you're in a lot of trouble. So might see some wards from Envision 3D eventually in that mid lane. Probably be good. Might get picked on a little bit, but we'll have to see. Twisted Fate going back now. Doran's Ring Start's been pretty popular lately in a lot of the games I've been watching for HGL, at least. Seeing a lot of double Doran starts. This case is double Doran's haunting guys and Sorcerer's Shoe, so a lot of penetration right off the bat, probably doing true damage to a lot of the enemies on the battlefield right now. On Summoner's Rift. that is the slot next to the turret. That little point over here. This is where skill shots become on hit, on click. They auto hit because you have nowhere to go. Saw that happen to Twisted Fate a little bit right there. Looks like he's rotating down here. I have a little bit of a scrum down here, but Twisted Fate is coming down to this bottom lane, is going to be able to pick up Draven, and now they're focusing onto the Sona. They will be able to pick up that kill as well. So double kill for I Want to Believe, and I Want to Believe this map presence from him has been really, really good. They set that up very, very nicely. We see Envision 3D actually a little bit hanging out around Dragon, trying to back off. Olaf trying to solo defend this turret that is going to be pushed in pretty quickly. Another wave showing up here. So he's going to have some really good axes to try to clear this wave really quickly, but I expect it should take a lot of damage. And actually, they might go in onto this, a little quick little hit there, but if they stack some CC, I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to tear him down very, very quickly. Dazzle comes in a little bit late. No other focus underneath the turret. We see Draven Axis flying in through here right away to try to clear out this mini wave. And pretty lucky that I think Pieces was able to escape out of there with his life. Because I think if Nvidia really cracked down there and stacked their CC, Olaf would have been in pretty good trouble, even with Ragnarok. Amelia back up here, still dominating top lane by about 40 CS, even though he ended up dying. Has 2 kills as well. So he's still sitting pretty happy. He's still pretty beast. He's going to be a really big effect still in team fights. Not quite the tanky threat that he was when we saw him as Jarvan in the last game that we casted for him, but still going to be a huge factor. Still believe in his skill as a player. Morgana just getting pushed all day here. 89 CS versus 50, so almost a 40 CS lead there as well. Looks like it's just going to finally tick over in that bot lane. Pretty much identical items. Nothing too crazy going on there. Both have assists. No one quite with a kill yet. Draven's been picked up in response a little bit, but nothing too crazy happened else on the map after the few little team fights, few little engagements. and mostly Nvidia actually creeping up ahead and looking really good. Again, this is one of those teams that week to week I've seen get a little better, a little better, a little better, and this week they're probably one of their better performances that I've seen from them so far. But there is a lot of people in Wake to come in on this right now, and Nautilus is going to take a lot of damage, going to flash out of this. Still has Ignite on him. Will he be able to run away? Axe coming through, trying to get someone, but it's just going to chunk. Twisted Fate and Vision 3D still very, very low here, trying to play the best bait game that they could. No one dying in that exchange, though. We see actually Olaf coming through the enemy jungle. Not going to find himself a Nautilus, but might get himself a red buff. Going to ward this up here to make it a little bit safe. And there's no real warding coming in for Nvidia in this top jungle, so he's going to be able to do this unseen and picked off. So heads up play here by Pieces. Pieces making some plays for his team, defend that bot turret. Now doing a little invade onto red buff, so props to him. Sorry, I had a tickle in my throat. Had to drink some water, rush it away. I'm not that emotional about Pieces red buff steal. It wasn't that good. It wasn't that good, but Captain Selfish going back to his own jungle. Saying, get away from my gold. These are mine. That's exactly how he sounds too. You can trust me. Search him on YouTube. Anyway, Sid and Ra. This Vi, I haven't seen it come into play a lot. I mean, they've kind of, they had their ganks off, but for the most part, haven't seen her really come into play. Isn't outputting a ton of damage yet. Just kind of tanky. But oh my gosh, another kill down bottom. Guess I got locked in there. But Draven getting picked up again. This is big. This is big for Nvidia. I think Nerdery might have been sleeping a little bit, because I want to believe is pretty much running away and snowballing all his lanes. Like I was talking about earlier, like they need to go top, they need to go bottom and slow one of them down. Well, now they're slowing down both lanes because they've got a kill on top. They got a kill on bottom. I don't think Attila Amelia is like fully slowed down, but they could almost take this turret. They should be able to do it pretty shortly. And we see Soul Shackle coming on to I Want to Believe. Will it go off? It will go off. They should be able to wrap this up with a Dark Binding. Very nicely played, and a shutdown for Vision. Now we see, trying to go to the wall, but he misses. So now he's going to have to walk out the very, very slow way. Dark Binding lands. Just need a few more attacks. There is the Axe just to follow it up. And now Envision picking up 2 kills right there. Bingo bango. And things looking the other way for the Nerdery right now. They woke up a little bit. They were asleep. Now they woke up. Now they're ready to play. Getting some good pickoffs there. Backing off bottom lane as well. Bottom lane actually buying up a BF sword. So basically, again, staying in stride with Draven. No one really pulling away there. But they're kept in check because, again, like I said, I think Terrace is one of those players that probably potentially the better of the ADs down at bot lane. So if they can keep him unwrapped and keep him even, I think that's a win for Nvidia at this point.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
So red team's turret has been destroyed. You heard the lady. We saw it happen. She didn't have to tell you, but she told you as well. And I could tell you that mid turret went down as well, but be completely redundant right now. Sorry, I'm having a little fun with this cast. Anyways, so going down to the dragon, it looks like a lot of the Nerdery setting up here. Some good scouting positions. Vision 3 doesn't want to take that upfront damage. Going to eat a gold card to the stun, but not a huge amount of damage. Nautilus coming down here. Will they be able to smite steal? Yes, they will. Nautilus with the smite steal, and Pieces has nowhere to run, and Vision 3 is going to be wrapped up as well. So they lose a dragon and a double kill to who else? But I want to believe. I want to believe Nvidia can win. And he's going to warp in here. Oh, make it a triple kill. Why not? Why not? You casual man. Just throwing out your cards, being all suave, all gambit-like, mon ami. Trust me, the Nerdery doesn't want to be your friend. Maybe after this game, maybe they'll send you some friend invites so they can play with you, but man, oh wow. That was actually pretty clutch. Knocking Nautilus away so he doesn't actually get sucked in. Pretty well timed. That was actually pretty nice play right there. Don't know if it was completely on purpose, but still looked pretty awesome. So I'll give Terrace that one. I'll say that he was intentionally going for that. And a lot of control by Nvidia in this bottom jungle. Looking very, very strong now. Being able to play this red buff. Olaf trying to come in here, but really has nothing doing. They need to be a little bit scared of this bot up the Nerdery, because the Nerdery just spent a lot of their gold that they had built up from earlier. They were banking a lot of gold. So they should have a little bit more items in here to come in and fight with. But for right now, I want to believe, like, just cleaning up, getting the kills where he can. The only problem is, like, all their gold is stacked onto him. So really the Nerdery's job becomes like, all right, so All your gold is on I Want to Believe. All right, dive I Want to Believe. Ragnarok, jump in, do whatever you can, take him out, and a lot of their damage is gone and out of the fight. Not that Vi isn't a viable target, but she's not going to deal with the most massive amount of damage. She's doing pretty tanky build right now, which we see a lot from these bruiser top lanes. And stolen, I believe, or was it? I think he might have got it. Yeah, I think he got it, actually. I thought the Dark Binding was going to land, but it didn't. Now we see the pickoff. Twisted Fate out of this fight, though, so this is what they want. Get a little poke in there, actually are able to pick up Nautilus. That's a really heads-up play by the Nerdery. Twisted Fate not able to come back into the one and make a difference, and, you know, he was gone. They need him. He is the kind of the star of their team. That's the only problem with the way this game is going for Nvidia at this point is like everything is stacked onto his head. You know, if he falls, I mean, you look at this 8K lead. He has 3K more than anybody else on his team in the game. Actually, for a matter of anybody else in this game, but 3K is a lot. 3K is a lot. Whew, Tarek getting pretty aggressive in there, trying to pick a fight. I don't know if they're quite ready for that right now. Looks like Olaf's actually going to push top, going to be pretty successful with taking out that top turret, which ensure he looks like he is. Oh, nice little stun combo onto Morgana. Morgana's in a lot of trouble, going to get dunked by Vi coming in here, but defensive Cyclone is going to be able to turn that around to pick up Vi. Cards coming in, game over for Sona. Now they're running in here past the turret. Nos is going to get a good initiate onto two members, getting followed up. Yellow card going to come in, seal the deal for another kill. Illini Joe is going to be able to steal that one. Scumbag support coming in there, but you know he did that work, getting him through the early phases. So you know he can win himself a last hit for a kill. He can steal one every now and then. Oh, another beautiful grab, and they have to believe he decoyed. But now they can actually focus back onto this turret as long as he can lose a little bit of tower aggro here. We see I Want to Believe just running away. He doesn't even want to take a chance to run back and get picked off by some dive combo. But here we have Pieces taking two turrets, so actually doing a pretty good job for his team. I think he probably could have stopped a little bit of that pressure here. They didn't actually lose base turret, and they took two turrets for two turrets that were pushed down. So minus the kills, I think that the Nerdery did pretty good with a bad situation that ended up for him there. So not overall too bad. Even trade in turrets, but still, that I Want to Believe, that gold is creeping up. Vi actually getting some gold in here. Actually, I've finished up her Bloodthirster now, so she's gonna be looking pretty good. Looks like she might be going for Warmogs next, which would not be too surprising. On the other hand, we have Wukong. I don't know if what he's necessarily going to go for. He might go for Randu and Zomer or something cute. We'll have to see. Dive in there, get a lot of slow attack speed, slow off, deal a lot of damage, get a little bit of health and tankiness. Again, gonna have to find out. But look at I Want to Believe. Finished off his death cap. So he has Rabadon's death cap. He has a needlessly large rod to back that up as well. I mean, that's some scary, scary damage, and all they have to really do is protect him. If they protect I Want to Believe, they're going to have a really good game, and they have a really beefy team to kind of get in your face and distract you. I mean, Tarek, they don't want to lose Caitlyn, though. That would be a bad thing. That would be a bad thing for Nvidia right now. Wave clear coming in. Dark Binding is going to land. I Want to Believe going to take a little bit of damage here. They take a little bit of damage. Lots of jockeying for position at this point from both teams. Kind of know that they don't want to give up any big team fights. They know Nerdery is a little bit gun shy after the past few fights. They have Olaf split pushing yet again, so maybe this is kind of like their strat is to slow down, pull a lot of the aggro from Nvidia and try to outplay them with map awareness, which could work out for them. Now they're finally pinging for Olaf, so they do know that is up. But I think if they all go up there, like they're kind of doing now, that there might be a big push mid, and we might see them lose their mid turret. So, gonna have to see how this works out. Olaf's just running for his life now. He laced up his Nikes. He's making a run for it. Draven clear in the bottom lane. They do know that he is in bottom lane though, so it's not necessarily the best place to be. Sona actually backing up as well. Dragon going up, so a little bit of collapse going on there. And we see Gold Card pretty much chunking through Black Shield, but not getting the stun off of it, so lucky for Morgana. She's not going to eat that stun. Black Shield's going to be able to protect her at least for that moment, but otherwise would be taking a tremendous amount of damage. Sitting up over this ward though. Nice Cyclone coming in. Axe is going to clean up Caitlyn before this even gets started off. Captain Selfish trying to live in the moment there, but they've completely backed off. I want to believe. Like, I don't know what they're going to be able to do. Revive's going to have to come in to try to clean this up. Actually, ults. Will he be able to get his damage back in here? That's the question. If they want to try to fight this out, we see Wukong coming in there. Actually, decoys to get off that last hit. Couldn't quite track him. Draven getting a little dive happy. Dazzle might have came out, so he flashes preventatively. Is going to now be able to push onto this turret, which so conveniently is pushing up now. And the Nerdery just kind of outplaying this late game phase a little bit. And really, that team fight came down to a lot of, I want to believe, not being able to get in his damage, and Caitlyn just dying straight up right off the bat, getting picked up by those axes, and really nice setup. You know, Wukong, you know, Attila Milia he's the initiator for his team. You saw it from Jarvan. You're seeing it now with Wukong. He recognizes right away, and I'm guarantee you they're coming off the back of his calls more than likely. He's saying like, hey, you know what? I'm going in, follow up, and that's the end of the story. They can trust him that he's going to go in there and do the best job of initiating ever, and they can follow it up like they did and come out really successful. Nice little black shield. Right there. I don't know if it actually blocked anything. I don't think it did. I think the anchor just barely missed in pieces. They're like your job is to run around and kill every turret while no one is paying attention. We've seen Nvidia trying to work onto this dragon. Will we see a fight though? That was a question. We actually see Olaf a little bit behind. They actually see him in here, and they're actually going to move in onto Olaf while this dragon is getting taken. So dragon will get taken. Now they're trying to chase him down, but he is ghosted. I don't think they're actually going to be able to run him down now. More than likely. We see an attempt by Vi to chase after, but not going to happen. No smite here, so it could actually get stolen if they came back in. But you see the burst damage coming out from I Want to Believe. Too strong. A little bit too late on the poke there. Timed it a little bit off. See some poke coming in from Erebus Wolf. Luckily that they're not guesstimating and heading left instead of right. Would have been really bad for it to have an entire team sitting here in the bush as you walk by. Would not be fun times if you're an AD carry named Erebus Wolf. Kills just one ahead. Gold lead, 2K advantage for Nvidia. They've built themselves up a nice lead here. Again, you know, like I'm saying, like one of the better games that I've seen them play. A team that's getting better week to week against a team called the Nerdery, who's pretty much red hot. I mean, the last game I saw for them was pretty stellar. And you can see right here, they're playing out a really nice game. Just Nvidia with that early play, and I Want to Believe making some plays for his team, and it's just played this out very, very nicely for himself and given themselves a big goal lead. But again, you know, they're very top heavy. It's all pretty much sitting on I Want to Believe. They're starting to get them some more components here with Vi, but for the most part, that's the way it is. And Tarek just gonna faceplant this, and they weren't quite. Oh my gosh, they weren't ready for that. Clearly some focus was gone there. But if anybody was like, maybe their eyes got a little bit too big. They were like, whoa, here's a Christmas present. It's not even Christmas. I don't know what's going on. Don't open it. It's probably a bomb. And Tarek was able to walk out of it. So props to him. Props to him. Was able to get away. Olaf running down here, going to be able to take out some creeps. Here's creeps, push off this wave. Really need to get a lot of the waves pushing. You see this huge wave up top. Caitlyn's going to feast on this, which is going to be really, really nice for her. Should be able to pick up a lot of this CS, which you see her doing right now. That attack speed. Getting off those headshots as well. Plinkety, plinkety. Doing work. The concentration of warding Baron is 2 wards. 2 wards have been placed. Division on Baron. So just to make sure that no one tries to pull some funny business, although we do see Twisted Fate bottom, but of course he can teleport wherever the heck he wants. Really don't see Nvidia quite in the position to contest Baron. If it would start to go down, they have to rush there pretty quickly. Although neither team really concerned with Baron at this point. It's an objective, a way to force fights, but I don't think either team's completely confident that they want to force a fight yet. I know that Nerdery's been playing out this game. They're currently playing a little bit better. They have a nice little push going on here mid. Twisted Fate not coming in here. Full team not there. We see Olaf getting off a few free hits. We see the crushing blow coming in on the turret as well to get out some damage. So nice little poke in damage by the Nerdery. You can tell the Nerdery is very coordinated with their plays like that. Like everybody just kind of going in, getting off whatever damage they can, trading off the tanking. You know, really nicely played. Solid play from them. Now they're actually heading towards Baron. Do they have a pink ward? I don't think they have a pink ward or oracles on their team, which means they're not going to be able to ward sweep. So interesting. You know, if you're warding Baron, it might as well be a pink ward. Unless you have an Oracle, why not pink ward? I know like you have like everybody gets a little bit lazy about wards now because you have sight stones, so it's like a bunch of free wards, but pink wards are really amazing, and vision control is something that I see in a lot of these games, a lot of these AHGL B League games, that really should be exploited more. And I think the more teams focused on ward control, like that's like the next little step I see from these teams that I'd like to see from them, is like just get into like the ward control game. Because if you got into the ward control game and you have the vision and they don't, it makes it so risky for them to do anything later on in this game. Like Tart coming in here, so risky, especially if you're blue side against red side. Like this bush is like, this bush wins games, because you come in here, you clear out all this vision, and then you sit your team in this bush, and when they come down here, invariably someone's gonna poke into this bush, you wipe them out, you're in a 5v4, unless they're way ahead of you with an AoE team comp and you just sat 5 people in a bush to get AoE'd. Chances are you're gonna win that team fight with the first punch. So I would like to see these teams, you know, pick up earlier oracles of the old days, pick up lots more pink wards. That would be actually preferable as well. Even if if you're not going to buy an oracles, buy pink wards early. You know, get control over those gank lanes and stuff, and win the game. You know, pick someone off. That's how you break open a game. Because right now, eventually one of these teams is going to get the position advantage and, you know, win this game out. And if I had to bet, just based on past experience, the Nerdery is the team that shows to me that they have better. They have a really good initiator and Ultimelia. They have a really great AD that knows spacing, and they have some good team coordination. Not a knock against Nvidia, but I would put, you know, the team that's going to outthink the other one with positioning is going to probably be the Nerdery, if I had to guess, if I had to put my money on it. So the way you can make sure and seal the deal is get your pink wards, get your oracles, gain the vision advantage, know exactly where they are, and then set yourself up in the best position, because you have all the vision and they don't, and that's the way to play it. But for now, we see both teams just kind of doing invades, breaking back out, wards being replaced. We see Nvidia with a lot more wards in their own team. We see bottom lane auto pushing for them. Morgana backing off here though, so seeing her bot lane, if she goes to try to farm that, which it looks like she is, might be a trigger for Nvidia to make something happen on the map. I don't think it would be a bad idea at all. There's no teleport for her. Will probably take her a while to get in there, although they're heading for their blue buff, so this is actually going to be pretty safe, because unless Nvidia was really just mounted up ready to invade right away, not going to be able to do this Baron buff in time. They do see her. We do see some people running, but I don't think that's going to happen. Dragon just going down. Ward's just going down around it as well. Twisted Fate going top lane. Again, he can teleport in at any moment. But without him, they're missing a lot of their damage. See Olaf creeping. He's creeping around this bottom side. Coming up past Dragon. It looks like they're going to probably start off this Dragon. Wukong looking mid, and now that we see Nvidia see that, they're actually paying for this turret. So they're going to take 2 turrets for this Dragon, which is actually a better trade for Nvidia, in all honesty. Dragon will respawn, will be back up, but taking out these 2 turrets, gold wise, is going to be good, and it's going to open up the map again a little bit more for them. And it's, you know, more objectives that they can take down, and they're going to get another one. They're still pushing really, really hard. Some counter pings towards mid turret, but I think they've realized that they're not going to be able to counter push there. And I kind of would have liked to see Nvidia push that a little bit more, but they're just going to back off, take what was given to them, and we're going to see them cross back over this ward. Nice ward paying off for the Nerdery. Going to be able to give them a lot of information about the exit strategy and what exactly is going on in the enemy jungle. They know that now they're actually showing themselves in mid lane, so pretty safe. Pings going down towards that bottom turret. So Nvidia just decided, like, all right, we don't necessarily know what to do. We don't know if we want to pick a team fight, what's going on there. So instead what we're going to do, oh wow, they actually see Twisted Fate tailing out for his team. He should be able to get out of any trouble, but he's going to be split off now. And he's actually teleporting. That was actually smart, because if he actually took the time and tried to blue pill or anything silly like that, not only could he get caught, but on the other hand is he would have been so late to rotate into that mid turret that they could have put a lot more damage on it. So yeah, Nvidia, again, like I was saying, like their strategy kind of changed. Like they were like, we don't quite know what to do. We don't know if we want to get in a team fight. So let's just go and try to whittle down outer turrets, because we won't get as much pressure from that. And a lot of help coming in for pieces to try to get out of this. But there we have another ult from Vi to try to wrap that up, turn around, putting some damage on, and Envision actually is going to be torn down right now in the middle of the enemy team. Cyclone for ultimately trying to come in here, trying to back up, trying to get some of his DPS back in this, tries to get out, but Nvidia just running him down right now, looking very, very good. Wukong still coming in here. Will he be able to get out of this? No, he won't. Erebus Wolf going to finish off that one, and all members up for Nvidia after that sweep. 3 kills for nothing, and a blue pill coming in from, I want to believe. What are they going to do with this? Are they going to try to push down a turret? Are they going to try to do Baron real quick? It looks like they're running straight for Baron. Yeah, they have to be going for Baron. Might see Twisted Fate come back in here. Doesn't have his teleport, so he's not going to be able to teleport in to help out with his Baron. But they're going to try to do it. And with that Baron, I think it'll give Nvidia the confidence to try to finally push in here and take out some main turrets. So really nicely played game for them right now. Have to give them major props. Captain Selfish whacking away at that Baron, trying to hack it down. Not eating a lot of... Actually, is he? Okay, now he is. Want to eat that 50% damage buff, or at least on Nautilus, because he's not the one dealing massive damage. Wanting to have Vi dealing as much damage as possible. And we see the run to Baron, but they should know that it's pretty much gone. That was the victory that Nvidia got for that triple kill there earlier. So good on them. Good on them. And yeah, so... Nvidia, Baron buffed up, feeling good about life, buying up, got their main items. Look at I want to believe. He has Hourglass, Rabadon's Death Cap, Void Staff, Haunting Guys, Sorcerer's Shoes. So he has a lot of pen mixed in there, dealing pretty much true damage. Again, the main guy to focus. If they can tear him down really quickly, they have a pretty good chance in team fights. But now you see people like Caitlyn and Vi starting to catch up, starting to get back into other damage items. And that's where I expect them to kind of go from here on out. And really, I think that the way that fight started with Olaf taking a lot of upfront damage and having to spend, the Black Shield and stuff like that to try to get him out, really took a lot away from Morgana, what she was able to do when she tried to initiate. And they kind of used a lot of initiators to counter-initiate and try to make something happen, but the rest of the Nerdery team didn't really follow that up. So now we have the big push. This is gonna be key. Nvidia, what Nvidia does with this Baron buff is gonna probably decide this game, because I think they could also very easily get beaten underneath turret if they try to push it. But they also could end up really good, and we can see the Nerdery here waiting in the wings. Oh, we're gonna have action. We're gonna have action. Oh, the quick ward down actually catches us out, and here comes the initiator, the beefy front line coming up, trying to get in the way of a lot of those members. Caitlyn getting focused, Cyclone being wasted, but no, Caitlyn comes back into it, and now we see Twisted Fate getting focused a lot in the background. They need to get their beefy line back here to try to pull for them. Our beautiful Hourglass, but I want to believe eating away a lot of damage, but Wukong is going to be in there, and he's actually going to be able to crushing blow and clean up. I want to believe. Will he be able to get out of this? It looks like it's going to be a no. Not fooled by the decoy. Still 4 members up for Nvidia. Looks like Peace is going to have to back off. They should be able to get this turret and an inhibitor, but really, really nice scramble team fight there. Coming in. Oh my gosh, he's not able to blue pill. He's not able to blue pill. He gets an bionic arm to the back of the head. He is knocked out. He is down on the ground. That is a hangover he is going to have a hard time recovering from. And now we see Nvidia pressing in here very, very confidently. Will they be able to take down some Nexus turrets, though? That is what they want to do, though. They're kind of going in here, a little bit of focus, switching back over onto Sona. They don't want to get too low from these turrets, but now they're focusing back onto them. We still have 11 minutes, or 11 seconds. 11 minutes would be a long time. It's a long death timer, but 11 seconds left on for Morgana, and Nvidia closing out this turret. Will they be able to close out the Nexus? Is Nvidia again looking strong, coming in this week, taking on the Nerdery, and they got this game if they just focus on the Nexus. I think they got it. Congratulations to Nvidia picking up this game. This is going to be one I'm sure they're going to want to go back and watch, and should be spread around, because after last week, I mean, they got crushed last week. To be honest, I'm not gonna lie, and to see again like how much they've kind of advanced and like slowly got better. Like they've gotten beaten, but they've always had like good moves or made some good plays here and there. And this game, you know, a lot of it I have to say probably on I Want to Believe, making some serious plays for their team. But you see the rest of their team, solid play. I mean, Nautilus sacrificed his body getting some ganks in there, but the rest of his team really low death counts, really good positioning, completely clean game. And big props to Nvidia for coming in and picking up this game against a really stout Nerdery team who I've been watching throughout the weeks and has been very impressive to me. So, hey, probably their biggest win of the season so far, and well deserved. So congratulations to both teams. Go look, have fun. I'm gonna hop over to twitch.tv/ESEA. You guys should all follow me through the Twitchosphere. Go hop on there. We're going to do a weekly show shortly in the next 15 minutes, talk about ESEA, the league, and everything happened on there. So hop on over to twitch.tv/ESEA, and I'll be starting a talk show up there with Dom the Help from Area of Defect if you like their music. And we'll be talking about League of Legends, all that's happening, and all that fun stuff. So thanks for inviting me in here, Erebus Wolf, to come cast this game.